Is this the person that said that, like, Vaush... Is this when I had the conversation about Vaush that, like, Destiny joined? Is that one? DemSoc011. Is that one? Yeah? Oh, okay. Alright, okay. Icodrama's unironically sleeper. I wouldn't cover it. She talked about me for 5 minutes. I spent 20 minutes finding said 5 minutes and just criticized the response for it. Okay. They're the person who said you 3v1 them when you asked. Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
So I tell you what. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to explain to me what you mean by this tweet. Go on.
Okay. So I think part of the problem that happens when we talk about words and how words are offensive and so on is that for certain people, aka that majority group in society, there can be an over defensiveness of something.
I like how this person was trying to tell me that they weren't like a Vaush simp, and they have like fucking pages and pages of messaging inside of Vaush's chat, and they have just been running defense for Vaush ever since. That was a funny meme. Could you... Who the fuck are you? Do I have to ban you? You have 41 messages. I don't want to ban you. What are you doing, man?
That is not really a systemic issue, and this
blah,
is my
blah,
problem.
blah, blah, blah. Answer this. What is my YouTube...
Wait.
No.
This has to be a respectful conversation.
No. I want you to answer me a question. I want you to answer me one simple question. What does my YouTube release schedule have to do with white fragility?
Well, it's just that you are posting a lot of the same video attacking Hassan over an issue that's really small.
Why do you think I'm doing that?
I'm guessing for clout.
I'm doing the reason. Okay, let me explain something to you. Okay, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do.
How's it going? You know, you got lots of views, lots of subs, etc.
No, I'm pretty small at the moment, I'd say.
Okay, so basically, I recently hired an editor. Okay.
Okay.
And me and the editor are working together to build my YouTube channel to increase subscribers and stuff like that. Okay. So one aspect of that is tapping into drama cycles in order to get as much content out as possible in order to benefit from the algorithm and benefit from attention. You said yourself that I was doing it for clout. So with that being the case, what the fuck has that got to do with white fragility?
Well, it's not only clout. I mean, I've seen some of your rhetoric on Hassan before. It's a bit emotional. It's definitely, you definitely have a specific problem with him that I don't think you have with most other lefty content creators.
Okay, what's that got to do with white fragility though?
Well, okay, I'll tell you. It's the two things are connected. Number one, you seem to be very upset about white content creators being able to use the term cracker. You obviously think it's offensive to white people.
Jesus.
There is a
Whoa. Let me stop you there. No.
Wait, you
You've
have
said
not even let me finish one point.
Yeah, because you're saying dumb stuff, okay?
Point.
But you're saying stupid stuff, and I want to correct you to save you some time, okay? Where have I said that about white people being offended by the word cracker? Have you got a timestamp for that?
No, but come on, that's what you're getting at. That's the whole point. Of like 3-4 streams. That's the point. Come on.
Okay, but that's not the point. What that suggests to me is you need to clean your ears out because you haven't been listening to what I've been saying, and you've made assumptions about my position, which has led you to the dumb position that I think or am worried about white people being offended by the C word, okay? So the problem is not in my explaining or whatever. Clearly you've not been listening to what I'm saying.
Well, Chud, I did ask you to get the ball rolling and you didn't. So, you know, you at the start of this, you could have outlined your position.
Do you know why? Because you've just fucking tweeted about me. You didn't even fucking at me, you bitch. You fucking tweeted about me saying this is peak white fragility, okay? Oh. You want to talk about clout chasing? Yeah? What the fuck do you call this?
Oh, come on. It's not clout chasing. It's my great concern that the rhetoric you're engaging in is not conducive to good online discourse, I would say. Okay. I would say it over-amplifies a very small issue that really has not much significance.
A very small issue that you felt the need to tweet about, that a lot of people felt the need to tweet about, that like mainstream media felt the need to tweet about, that every single large online political content creator felt the need to talk about. But Chudlogic took it too far by making, what, 3 videos? 4 videos? That's wild, homie.
Online or in the real world. This is my problem.
Okay, let me ask you a question, okay? You say that...
Wait, and the second point, wait. The second point is, at the same time of trying to largely destroy a much bigger streamer's career, who's probably been one of the biggest people responsible for getting the socialist message to large amounts of apolitical people. So those are the 2 problems I have with this.
Ew.
Okay, do you think that I'm trying to destroy Hassan's career?
I definitely think you're
doing
trying
that?
to give him bad publicity, absolutely.
Bad publicity?
Huh? Yeah, you're absolutely trying to give him bad publicity. You're trying to make him look bad. And
is the argument, let's not say bad shit about this guy ever? Is that the argument?
He's done that himself. He's done that himself. I'm just covering what he said.
Look bad from this.
No.
Come on.
Listen. You keep saying "come on" like that. Okay, you're saying the fucking stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. Okay, Hassan has said certain things. We can get into all the Hassan stuff because I've got a very well thought out position on this. Okay, Hassan is saying things, and I am responding to and commenting the things that he's saying publicly. Okay, now I make it very clear that my channel is about entertainment primarily. Okay, so I'm not here to make a political difference, right? I'm not here to grandstand on myself that I'm making some big political change. I'm here to talk about
political difference.
I'm here to, okay, that's not my primary concern though. I'm here to talk about drama, to talk about spicy things, whatever it is.
My man.
Even if it's even if it has a negative impact on overall discourse and the way leftists look.
I don't think that you can demonstrate that it's had a negative impact on that at all. That should...
Don't talk shit about Hassan because it makes socialists look bad. This person is brainwashed, okay? This person is actually brainwashed.
Perception of it.
Wait, so unless I can demonstrate it through like academic studies that you don't think it can?
Okay, I can say that whatever your position is having a negative impact on leftism. There we go. It's your word against mine. So where the do we stand?
Okay. I do believe smaller content creators can have a negative impact on public discourse, but I believe you would have to demonstrate, not through academic studies, but just a general view that I have had a negative impact when it comes to this specific issue, and I don't think you can demonstrate that. Explain
to me how I've had a negative impact then. Go on.
Wait, on this issue or generally?
On this issue.
As I've said, I think that this type of rhetoric around the C-slur demonstrates a much bigger issue than it is, tries to portray that like leftists have are okay with racism. You know, it's this type of stuff, right?
Okay,
they are against white people.
Where you were getting that from the content that I've done on this. Go on.
Okay.
I would say they are.
Simply by you talking about this issue in the way that you've had, you've had a negative outcome on this.
Okay, what specifically have I said?
Okay, well you did try to make out that you reckon TYT was only defending Hassan because like he's related to someone there.
Okay, so TYT could have come to that position regardless. My main crux of my point there is that the young Turks...
Okay, why was it in the introduction to the main video then?
Okay, let me finish. What I'm saying is that TYT are not engaging in good journalistic practice by not making it clear of Cenk's conflict of interest in covering the story.
But everybody knows that Cenk is related to Hassan. This is no secret.
I don't care if it's a secret or not. As a journalist, you should have the integrity to do the right thing, which is to make it very clear, for anyone that doesn't know, that you are related to Hassan, okay? And, therefore, your coverage is going to have a bias associated with it. I don't think that was made clear enough in the video, nor was any notifications made about it.
Do you think Cenk Uygur himself solely writes
TYT
scripts?
Cenk Uygur, I believe, owns the Young Turks, so I don't care about... And he's the face of it. He's there saying the words. So yeah, that doesn't hold up to me at all. That there's writers that they've got something like that. You know, I could make the argument to you, oh well, my editor did that. My editor made all of those videos, okay, and he put them together, so it's nothing to do with me. But I wouldn't do that. I take on board my YouTube channel as my responsibility.
Okay, 2 points. Number one, you could say that at the start of the video, the way the start of the video was framed and the way it was edited was definitely your editor and had nothing to do with you. You could probably make that argument, and that would be a reasonable argument to be. So that's number one. Number two, I don't think Cenk solely owns the Young Turks, and he's not the only face on it. In fact, now I would argue that people probably know more of who Anna Kasparian is than they know who Cenk is at this current point in time. You know, it's not Young Turks 2015 anymore. You know, there are several shows now where Cenk isn't even there. I mean, you know, I definitely see more videos by Anna now on the Young Turks YouTube page than I see of Cenk.
Okay.
What does that have to do with anything? Any of the argument?
Cenk is a very prominent figure at the Young Turks. You know, he owns the company, right? So he has got a lot of political power, sway, influence, right? And I believe he is using that influence to push out information about Hasan, and he's not making it clear about the conflict of interest. And I think that is a lack of journalistic integrity on the part of Cenk. That's my position.
You're saying, also number one, are you saying that in that segment that Young Turks did, they never made it clear that Hasan had any connections to the Young Turks?
They referenced it briefly at times, but it wasn't explicit
Okay, well that's
enough.
fine then. That to me, that meets my standard.
Okay, what if he just said it doesn't mean
you agree
his?
with me on that? Good, okay.
No,
What's
I
next?
don't agree with you on that.
What don't you agree with
them
then?
I said that them referencing it loosely would meet my standard for like journalistic ethics.
What, by just sort of vaguely referencing at it, basically going, oh well, yeah.
Well, they don't. Are you saying the type of thing you want is a disclaimer at the start of the video saying, "Hey, this is my cousin. Hey, he used to work here." Is that the type of? Is that how much? Because I mean, it's about the differences here are about what qualifies as a disclaimer. That's literally the disagreement here.
Well, yeah, my issue is that it wasn't made clear enough, and I think like a prominent disclaimer would be appropriate, kind of similar to when you have an advert and you have to say, oh yes, this is an advert or something like that, because, you know, I think the connection is far too large to do that. And even with that, like missing that, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I think throughout the video, they completely obfuscated the fact that Hasan had you know, built a big platform with the help of TYT. You know, there was one point where Anna said something along the lines of, oh yeah, you know, he grew big on Twitch. Like, yeah, he grew big on Twitch because he benefited from the clout that, but he benefited from the clout that he gained while he was working at TYT.
Wait, no, those general viewers on Twitch, half of them probably don't even know what TYT is.
Are we being obtuse?
Do you disagree that the clout that he gained through TYT helped him to build his platform on Twitch?
Okay, the majority of stuff, because
answer my question.
TYT.
Wait, shut up. Yes or no?
Wait,
it's a yes or no question. No, it's a yes or no question.
No, it's not a yes or no question.
Yes, it is.
It absolutely isn't.
That is,
I'm sorry,
no,
I'm not gonna.
It is. Let me ask it again.
Please do not eat RGR
Jesus
this, okay?
Christ,
it's really
this
simple. It's a
person
really
is
simple
being
question.
really
I'll ask
cringe.
it again. Okay, maybe you didn't understand, right? So I'll ask it again. Do you think that the clout gained, or the you know, recognition gained, whatever you want to call it, from TYT, helped him build his platform on Twitch?
I can't answer that question.
Why not?
Why?
That's an easy
You know
question
what?
to answer. That's an easy question
Because
to
I
answer.
can't 100% confirm that that's true or not. Nobody knows that.
Oh, come on. You're telling me that you cannot possibly ascertain or think that maybe it had an impact. I'm not saying to you, I'm not asking you to say it completely led to his increase on Twitch. I know he worked hard, and I agree with that.
The dishonesty is just palpable out the gate. Conceding this has no bearing even on the original fucking argument. It has no bearing. It has a bearing on this stupid fucking weird argument that this person is making. But the original argument about white fragility, whatever the fuck kind of argument you're making there, has no relevance. It has no relevance to this. You could take this L and still try and make this position. What a fucking moron.
But I'm just pointing out, to me, I would think it's pretty obvious on the face of it.
All the things that I ever heard about Hasan were after he got big on Twitch. I would actually argue he probably gained more through his associations with Destiny than he gained through his associations with TYT.
This is incredibly bad faith. The fact that you are not
How?
willing...
How is it bad faith? Please tell me.
Okay,
I'm saying from my experiences of knowing about Hassan. Wait, from my experiences from knowing about Hassan, and I've been watching.
I would agree that Hasan gained more from Destiny than he gained from TYT. I think nice meme. I think that could very reasonably be the case, but that wasn't the question. The question is whether or not he got a large boost. I think it's interesting that they're able to say that he got a large boost from Destiny, but he didn't get a large boost from TYT. That's pretty weird.
TYT since about 2016, 2017. The mass majority of stuff I know about Hassan comes from...
He said it's widely known he was tied to TYT, and now he's saying he doesn't know what it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah, that most of the people watching Hassan on Twitch didn't know he was tied with TYT, but everybody knows that Hassan is tied with TYT. It's really weird. Yeah,
it comes from, you know...
But Destiny only knew Hassan through TYT? Yep, I know that. But I don't know if Destiny only would have collaborated with him if he was through TYT. I mean, Destiny is known for collaborating with content creators just because they breathe the air. So, yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, he's pretty chill about, like, working with people or, you know, vibing with people politically and shit and talking to people.
9/11 comments and the association with Destiny and the more debate bro stuff he did.
Okay, well, even if we take that into account, do you think that Hassan would have been in a position to gain clout from that if he hadn't worked at TYT?
So what do you... Okay, number one...
Would Hassan... Okay,
what type of...
I'm trying to ask really simple questions. I know you're struggling. I know it's difficult for you,
no,
okay?
Come
but
on.
Let me
okay,
ask
now
you...
that's bad faith.
No, I'll tell you what's bad faith is you putting a fucking tweet out about me, you little clout-chasing bitch, okay? Now, well done. You got onto my stream. Congratulations. Listen...
I never planned to get onto your stream. This was a complete surprise for me. I mean, you know.
What do you think's going to happen?
What do you... Wait, this is a complete surprise that somebody would call me out on me calling them a white... What? My blood pressure. Okay, my blood pressure needs to be brought down a couple levels. I'm going to die too early if I don't lower my blood pressure.
Okay, when you tweet out like this... accusing me of having white fragility. That's going to rile me the fuck up. Of course it is. Okay, well, we'll get back to that because you still haven't answered the question. Anyway, listen, I'm asking you a simple question. Do you think Hassan would have been able to be in a position to debate Destiny and do all this other stuff that you think gained him clout if he hadn't have ever been on TYT or was related to Cenk?
So do I think, just to make sure I'm still manning this position... Do I think that he would have been able to gain clout? Are you saying in terms of resources, in terms of being a well-known figure? Is that what you're trying to point out?
What I'm trying to get at, right, is I'm trying to ask you here. Like, let's say that Hassan wasn't related to Cenk or TYT didn't exist, whatever it is, right? Do you think if that didn't happen and didn't exist, Hassan would have been in a position to debate Destiny and build up his platform on Twitch from that in the first place?
I think genuinely maybe.
He would have became big because I think there is no other person on Twitch who said those things about 9/11 who would have not got big from that. There's just, in my view, there's no...
Wait, does this person think that the 9/11 comments is what made him big? That was it? I know he got a lot of publicity for that, but that's what made him... Like, people like, yeah, you know what? That's my streamer. And then, like, Like, yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't he a multi-K Andy when he said he's larger than I've ever been when he made that statement? Wasn't he like a 4K Andy at the time?
Could have absolutely still happened. And the reason it could have still happened is because can you think of another person on Twitch who has said that?
2K? My
Sorry,
bad.
No, No, it's really, you know, I just think this is an exceptionally bad faith from you because I don't think I don't think there's a person out there except the most committed Hassan simps that would argue that his success on Twitch isn't at least in some part linked to the clout that he built on TYT.
I have so many disagreements with Hassan. I have so many disagreements with Hassan.
He's
that
lying.
That is such a ridiculous
100%.
thing to say about
He's lying. He doesn't disagree with Hassan about anything.
But I just think that the idea that you are completely denying or acting like it's a crazy question to ask or think something to suggest that Hassan's success on Twitch is integral to his clout that he built on TYT, so it put him in a position where he could do these things that you're talking about in the first place.
Okay, Michael Tracy has really fallen down. Michael Tracy has no fucking clout from TYT still. Okay? Like this is part of the issue I have is when I consider other people like Michael Tracy, for example. Michael Tracy has barely any subscribers.
Michael Tracy isn't related to Cenk Uygur.
But Michael Tracy definitely got extremely big on TYT.
Okay.
Okay, so what I am saying is, my argument is you cannot solely argue that the success or failure of someone is related to how well connected they are at TYT, because Michael Tracy.
Have you got a listening
down. And
problem?
I believe if Hassan
have you got a listening
down the
problem?
Michael Tracy route,
I think he's got a listening problem. I don't know.
What?
I never said that it was solely because of that, right? I never said at any point it is
Who the
solely
fuck
because
is
of
this
that.
molding
I'm just saying
Britmonger? I don't know, but I plan on reporting him to Twitch.
At the very least, it's a
What's up,
contributing factor. We could disagree about how big of a contributing factor it is.
Okay, it would be equally a contributing factor. It may be, but it could be equally a contributing factor through the destiny.
What made Hassan big is anti-conservative, anti-police, anti-Armenian imperialism rhetoric that strikes a note with most of the platform. Plus, he's enough factoids to build his narrative. Plus, he is considered good-looking in a platform where he's faced him. I'm going to be honest, and I'm 100%, I believe this to my very core. These are the three reasons that he got popular. Number one, he is hot. Number two, and this is in order of importance. Number one, he is hot. Number two, he is a populist. Number three, he is a socialist. I believe that that is the reason why he's popular. Not anything else, not because of good substantial critique. He got called out massively during like the editor drama and like this for having a blatant misunderstanding. Nobody follows that man for logical consistency. If you do, you don't even understand what logical consistency is. And I truly believe this. I think, and I think this is 100% backed up by all of the information out there, that he has just kind of a casual following. A group of people that follow him who are just like, yeah, I want to look at news shit delivered by some hot dude. That's it. It's like pop politics. That's what he is. He's pop politics. You tune into him if you want to like get mad because a cop, like him insulting the way some cop looks because they're fat or some shit. You tune into it because you want to, I don't know, look at something in between classes and see somebody yell at, I don't know, cops or whatever, and you feel rebellious. Yeah, I'm with the rebellion. I'm a college kid. I'm with the rebellion. And that's why you tune into him. And he's good looking. That's the reason why you do it. 100 trillion%. I believe that's the reason why. You're not going to catch anybody that like isn't somebody that like feels real fucking edgy. I am going rogue against my parents. I'm a socialist. You're not going to get anybody else like that doesn't watch Hassan. 100%. Right? That's what I believe that Hassan's platform is built off of. And I mean, good for him. Good for him. That's a market. Like I said, I think overall he is probably good for the left, but I make no mistake. I truly believe that. Maybe that'll change with more information, but that's what I believe is the case.
Stuff for the 9/11 stuff, because we have seen very controversial figures get very big who, without being associated with TYT. In fact, the majority of streamers on the platform right now did not come from TYT. The majority of prominent leftists, either on YouTube or Twitch, did not come from TYT. So my problem with this argument is this idea that his success came from TYT. I completely disagree with. Okay? This is my problem here, is that I think it loses, it doesn't explain the success of all these other people within the online left.
Okay, but my basic point here is that I believe that Hassan has benefited from nepotism throughout his career.
Come on. That's I look.
Wait, this is categorically. Wait, hold on. I think this is a litmus test for whether or not you could be trusted to like even talk about any issue at all. To say that Hassan has massively benefited from nepotism is to just be an honest person. He has, objectively. There is no barometer you could look at that doesn't show that to be the case. Yeah, water is wet type beat. He has objectively massively benefited from that. Now, whether or not he'd be a big streamer with or without it, Chud isn't making a claim. So far, he hasn't, and I would be surprised if he would. Now, nor will I, right? Because we can't make that claim. We don't know. But to say that it didn't massively help his stream is just dishonest. It's just dishonest.
It seems this fight with Hasan, even though you don't know him, it seems very personal. It doesn't seem like just a streamer who doesn't like a person.
But I haven't heard the reasoning. Oh, okay. So the reason why I believe that Hasan overall is good for the left is because I think essentially he's think of him like a placeholder. Right? He could be a lot worse than what he is, and with that idea, I don't think he's that bad. He brings in people that are he brings in slacktivists, right, is what he does. He brings in white college kids that think that they're doing something by watching a multimillionaire streamer say that cops are fat and ugly, right, and make fun of their weight and the way that they look and their neck size and their jaw size, make fun of their, like, balding and shit like that. That's what they do. That's what he does, right? Let's be honest with it. That's what he does. If there's a conservative, he makes fun of their weight, their appearance, and shit like that. And that's funny and fun to somebody who wants to act like an edgy fucking college kid. And that's fun. And they think that they've done their due diligence to fight the rebellion, fight the good fight, right? By watching Hasan. He isn't cringe about, like, the weird Black id pull shit where it's like you have to donate to the Black Hammer organization if you're white and shit like that, which is a plus. He doesn't do the cringe tanky shit, but he seems to be edging into it, so maybe we'll see how that develops into the future. All right, he used to do it, and now he lightened up, and now it looks like he might be treading into that territory again. We'll see how that develops. But he isn't the worst on, like there's many political issues where people will say that the only people that could talk about those political issues are the people that fall within that group. He doesn't seem to fall within that group himself, right? Like, he, for instance, has been shit on for talking about black issues with him not being black, and says that, like, you know, hey, you don't have to be black, trans issues, not be trans, shit like that. If your argument holds up, your argument holds up. So he could be a lot worse. He could be a tanky that believes that all white people should bow down, all cis people, or, like, men are the causing of all problems. I haven't heard too much about his arguments about gender, so I'm not sure how far he would take, like, men cause all problems and women are perfect angels and have never done anything wrong. I'm not sure how far he would go with that. But yeah, I think overall he's not, like, a super shitty person. I could imagine a leftist, and there are leftists on this platform right now that would be way worse, let alone, God forbid, it's just a Republican instead of somebody like Hasan. But I think overall, I'm not dissatisfied.
Do you disagree that Hasan has... Okay, do you disagree then? Do you disagree that Hasan has benefited from nepotism throughout his career?
Has benefited from nepotism throughout his career. So, from what I know, Hasan largely became big through 2019-2020 US presidential election, the most prominent person of Bernie, because that's how he raised his profile through Twitch. I think from...
Kami, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. First time sub. I'd rather Hasan than Vaush. You know what's weird? I'd rather Vaush than Hasan. I think Vaush has better takes on a lot of things than Hasan. I prefer Vaush over Hasan. I think Vaush would not have gotten caught doing that editor shit. Really? Damn? Yeah. I think Vaush would not have been caught doing that editor shit. Vaush seems to do a tremendous amount more IRL work, fundraisers and shit like that with an audience like Hasan's. The amount of, like, money that he could pull in to, like, other shit is unreal. So yeah, I would prefer Vaush over Hasan. I think Hasan is, like, he's skirting the line of acceptable, and I think Vaush is overall, even though I had a fucking terrible experience with him, and I think he's down a bad track right now, like, just arguing that everybody, like, he's legitimately seeing ghosts in shadowboxing with them. It's, even with all that, I don't think he's that shitty of a person. If you're a communist in America, why do you not own a gun? I have depression. I'm okay. I'm gonna get rid of this. I have depression. I'm okay. Right now, I don't want to have the easy access to. But I can't read it when it does this.
Can we agree on one thing? At least it's not redacted from redacted.
Nice. True. Exactly. Redacted from redacted is a good example of someone that's worse than both of them. Highly sensitive ears. I made up for. How am I supposed to read this? Because I can't read the top line because I do with the second line, the third. I don't understand this. Because I don't want the use of it. I'm not going to fight the government support Molotov blankets and just read. I can't read the first line. It hasn't fully gone past the first line. Be more likely to use it on anyone else, on myself than anyone else. Okay. Because I'm 11. You ruined the meme? I'm a felon, but I own I do own muzzle loaded. Wait? You can own a muzzle loaded shit? Because I'm frequently suicidal. A mental illness. They aren't allowed to. Well, fella owning a weapon, right? Okay. Because I rely on meds to survive, and one of the side effects in the past when I tried was horrible. I naively, morally object to the existence of guns, but fully understand the need to defend oneself against the tyranny of the. Well, what is this supposed to be? Like, everybody that advocates for revolution has mental health issues? Is that what the thing is? I don't think this is a 10 out of 10 meme. Like, it's like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I mean, I don't know. If you select for the people that don't buy a gun that's revolutionary, of course you're going to get people that don't buy guns because they feel like they fucking can't. Like, if you ask some of these revolutionary people why you don't get guns, a lot of them are going to buy guns if they can or if they feel like they can. A lot of the other ones who feel like they don't, like, are just not going to get it, and it's probably going to be because of a mental disorder. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be like if I asked, hey, why do you sit on Twitter all day? Like 90% of it, like, and do you have any, like, mental condition? Everybody would be like, yeah, I do. I have, like, 90 different mental disorders. It's because that's the correlation. If you sit on Twitter all day, you have that. Like I don't know. You're selecting for what you're getting. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What I know, that's how it happened. Now, I think Cenk has been on Hassan's stream only 2 times. Okay? Only 2 times in total. So this idea that he's benefited from...
Twitter gives you brain damage? I truly believe that you do have mental atrophy if you're on Twitter. Like, I'm it sounds like I'm memeing. I legitimately, maybe this is like a video game violence thing and there's just a correlation or whatever. The people that stay on there. I believe that the people who are online or on Twitter all day are people that, like, legitimately have problems. You have a problem. You have an issue. Whatever that issue is, suss it. It's like a red flag, right? If you feel comfortable on Twitter all the time and you don't want to do other things, that is a red flag that you should probably look into some kind of thing that you might have, like, some kind of mental thing on. Like, I'm of that belief.
Before 2019, who knew who Hassan Piker was?
And it can cause serious damage. Because, like, I don't know a well-adjusted person that's like, yeah, let me sit on Twitter for the next fucking 9 hours. It's like, it's not one of those, like, go outside arguments or whatever, at least in my opinion. I don't think it, like, is just like, hey, you know, it's not, like, an entertaining thing to do. I just think that the environment of Twitter is not conducive to good, healthy relationships or good, healthy discourse to the point where it's going to cause you, like, harm if you're in that environment. Socialist Rifle Association, sound off. Nice. I have a Twitter account from 2015. I have a max of, like, 10 replies. You can look at my Twitter account right now. I don't tweet at all, but I should because I'm a online. Hey, 420. Thank you, Pepe La. Okay, so we can agree on one thing. At least it's not. Oh yeah. Sorry, I heard your dono, but I didn't hear the ping. I can't. I can understand if you're just for posting, but still all day is insane. Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you go to the Wikipedia, I know it's not exactly the best evidence, but literally in the Wikipedia article for Nepotism, it literally references Hassan Piker's hiring at TYT. But okay.
What?
It references.
No shot. That's true. That's not true, is it? No, you're lying. You're memeing. This is a joke. I swear to God, if you make a fool of me right now. Oh my God, it does! Holy shit! I didn't know this! That's crazy, dude! Hold up. Hassan. The hiring of Hassan Piker. Oh my God! That's crazy, dude. That's fucking wild, bro. By the way, donate to Wikipedia if you have any spare cash, right? I don't know about their like business practices or anything like that, but this site is based. That's crazy. On the fucking Wikipedia page for Nepotism, Hassan is there. That is wild, dude. Jordan Peterson's thoughts on transgenderism. All right, we'll look at that maybe later, I guess. This is why that patriarchy, the homogeneity of natural-born European societies is in decline.
Why in God's green earth are you on Twitter when you should be on?
True.
If you're not going to say that like Hassan has benefited, from nepotism like throughout his career, I just don't.
I got to give a shout out to Chudlogic on finding this absolute banger, dude. Go look at, dude. I can't believe this man had it, dude. He had the kill shot. It's the literal fucking Wikipedia page for Nepotism, and he pulls it up. He's like, "What's this? Yo, what's this? This you?" This you?
No, I feel like you're arguing the sky is green.
You're arguing like. Okay, here's when I hear the word nepotism, you know what I think of? I think of someone like Ivanka Trump.
Okay, what do you think?
Do they have to
is?
be related to the president?
I think nepotism, from what
like nepotism can literally just be that I just hire exclusively like people that I like, right? In a small business. It doesn't have to be like a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Like, or is there people I'm related to and shit like that as well? Like, wait, does nepotism include people you like? It does, right? I know at least it's used that way. Does it technically? The practice of those of power influence favoring relatives or friends. Yeah, okay, I was going to say. In pragmatic use, it includes friends. But
I understand at least. It's where you have large family connections and that helps you be successful in your career. Am I wrong about that? Generally the definition,
and
I think.
You wouldn't apply that to Hassan getting hired at the Young Turks?
I mean, was Hassan never involved in political activism before the Young Turks? This is the problem I have here.
So then, logically, anybody that is involved in political activism gets a job at the Young Turks? Anybody does that? Hey, listen, I was involved in political then come on down, you're hired.
Right? Is that we are contributing most of Hassan's success
a student at
to
Rutgers?
Cenk Uygur, even though Hassan and Cenk Uygur have like extremely big disagreements.
Hassan graduated from university and was hired as an intern at the Young Turks by Cenk Uygur, his uncle. You don't think that's nepotism?
Okay. It's may well be nepotism.
I
would argue.
So you agree with me then?
But what I would. Okay, wait. Okay.
Well, you do. That was my whole point.
What? That he benefited from nepotism?
Yes.
Okay, he may benefit from nepotism, but I don't think nepotism explains his success.
Just to be clear, I don't believe at any point I've said that his career at TYT is the sole reason for his success. And in fact, when I've spoken about Hassan, I've said Hassan has worked very hard on Twitch to build his platform and build his community. But all I'm saying is that his work at TYT and the nepotism he's benefited from is foundational to the creator he is today and the success he has today. It's foundational.
Okay. You may not remember this, but do you know how I first heard about you and how probably a lot of people, especially within like people like Vaush's community and Destiny's community, how a lot of people heard about you? They generally heard about you because I think you were the most aggressive person who was upset about Hassan's house drama. That's how I know about you.
Hey, let's
That's
go.
the very first time I'd ever heard of you.
Hey, you made a name for yourself over that. Hey, let's go. Nice. Good job, buddy.
Was the Hassan house drama because
Based
when I saw
pills
clips of you, you went way
being
harder
thrown
than
out
anyone
on
else
that.
over the Hassan house drama, which is why there's a lot of people, Hassan fans and non-Hassan fans, who thinks you have like this personal thing against Hassan because that's how most people know about you. So and so you being overly surprised.
Hey, listen, I liked Chud's. Well, Chud had every reason to be more mad about the house drama than anybody else, especially like me, because I mean, Chud's an actual socialist, so he's gonna feel, or at least I think reasonably, he would feel like, the entire fucking idea of socialism was being drugged through the fucking mud during that situation. So I think reasonably he had every right to be more upset about that. I was more upset about the justifications and shit like that. That's what I was upset about, when people would be like, hey, it's kind of weird that, you're buying this large house, but then you constantly talk about your Camry and your shit like this, and you downplay your wealth here and there. And it feels very, when you use terms like we, when it comes to like the working class and shit like this, saying that he's working class at one point, and albeit probably in a lapse of judgment, it's like, it comes off like you're just, you're lying, whether consciously or subconsciously. I don't have wealthy, powerful relatives in media, so I have to rely on the Sigma grind set.
That like a lot of people would come away with the impression that you have something personal against Hassan. It's a bit weird to me.
This is a pivot. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We can talk about this, but you're pivoting away.
No, it's connected to Hassan, so it absolutely is related.
Okay, but I'm not talking about any, like, we can talk about my feelings on Hassan and my thoughts on Hassan, okay, but this has got nothing to do about the conversation.
Wait, I don't like Hassan's fashion. Is that relevant because it's about Hassan? What the fuck is this? What does that even mean? How does that work?
About him benefiting. I just think it's a very straightforward observation that's true on the face of it, that people that are good faith could make, that Hassan has benefited from nepotism, which you've agreed with, okay, and also
what
that
you want to do is for everybody who likes Hassan to do the whole Hassan bad meme. That's what you want people to do.
Why do you keep putting words in my mouth? I don't give a what Hassan fans do. I don't fucking care what those fucking morons do. That's up to them.
Morons?
It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care what.
You just called them morons.
Yeah, because I think they're stupid. Hang on a sec. If I think people are a bunch of morons, I don't give a about what they do. Like, I'm not. My goal isn't to reach them or get through to them or anything like that. I don't fucking care. They're so deep in a parasocial relationship. I've probably got no hope of fucking reaching them. Okay.
I'm sorry. This
true.
is very spiteful. This is. It feels like the words are dripping with spite at this point about Hassan and his community. So it does feel like it's something very personal. Okay. Believe me, I've experienced it before.
What? Is this person's use of the word personal just mean that you feel emotions about it? Would this person say that Hassan has a personal hatred of every conservative he talks about. Like, this is a weird use of the word personal. Like, what?
Listen to me, okay? Even let's say that I do have a personal issue with Hassan, okay? What does that have anything to do with the points I'm making if the points are like correct?
It has everything to do with the point you're making, because it informs the perception that you have of that person, and that indicates the opinions you are likely to have about that person and how you are likely to see events.
Okay. This isn't relevant because if all of this was true, then argue against the points. You don't have to argue against the connection that you're making. It's not pivotal that with the connections that they're making. You would just argue against the points. Great example is the dumb that Chud is talking to. I've talked to before about Vaush. I argued, and even at the end I stated, that I believe that they were a Vaush stan. They are a Vaush stan, right? I didn't argue about like, well, you're a Vaush stan, that's why all of your points are this way. I argued with the points, and then once I broke them down on specific points and got them to a realistic area in their argument where they would not budge on the basis that they just believed Vaush wouldn't do that because they just liked Vaush. That's when I brought up that's when it became pivotal that they were a Vaush stan. But if what they're saying is true about Chud, that he believes that Chud is having a shitty position because he's so clouded with spite about Hassan, make fun of him. Like, roll him. Live. Do it. Show how stupid the opinion is logically. They won't be able to do that because they ain't got no gas, but we'll see what happens.
That affect that certain person.
But if the opinions that I've got are rooted in understanding, for example, and pointing out something which is accurate, like Hassan has benefited from nepotism, Hassan has benefited from his career
penny
at
kettle.
TYT, which has put him in a position ahead of everyone else in order to succeed.
Okay, you would have to accept this then. You would have to accept this then. Largely, and this is true, from the 50s to the 70s in the United Kingdom, and especially about the United Kingdom in particular, okay, most children followed their parents into their jobs. So you would have to then accept that, like, all those people were engaging in nepotism. You would have to accept that logic.
That's not how. No. That's not what nepotism means. Nepotism doesn't just mean you follow your person into a job. Nepotism
is most of those kids.
No. Nepotism is specifically, it's like a form of favourable behaviour that you give to a family member to put them in like positions of prominence or power that they may not achieve otherwise. If someone's a carpenter and they've got their little carpenting business and they're going around doing carpenting, and someone follows them into the trade and like takes over from the business, that's different to taking someone who's just out of university and putting them into a cushy media job straight away.
Do you reckon the National Coal Board, which at that time was dominated by trade unions, probably had some control over hiring and firing, and probably people who worked at those coal mines in particular probably were able to get their kids easier employed into the coal mines?
There's a possibility that kind of favoritism was happening to a degree, but there's a big difference. Difference between that and having a family go into a certain trade and then it goes down the sort of bloodline and they continue to follow in the family's footsteps, versus some, but then they're having to learn the craft and learn the trade in order to get to a position where they can, get into that business and do the thing. With Hassan, he literally left university.
Hassan had to learn the craft to some extent.
But Hassan left the university and he was plucked and put into TYT. Like, it's not the same.
Sure, but you're saying that someone had to learn the craft, right? That is just what you said.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't understand what coal mining in the 70s in the UK has got to do with what we're talking about.
No, because I'm trying to get you to be logically consistent on this principle, and it seems, and I'm struggling to get you to do that.
What? I don't think you are, because I don't understand why you're so bothered about me saying whatever about coal miners or whatever. Like, what does it fucking matter? We're talking about Hassan, and there's a big difference between someone who follows in their father's footsteps in terms of their trade or whatever, and Hassan leaving university presumably without much of a CV to speak of and getting plucked and put into TYT in a cushy job, and he's able to build up his career from there.
Do you have any evidence?
Well, this is not that big of a deal. Just say that it was nepotism. It's not that deep. Just move on. Didn't they already concede it earlier, and now they're back on this?
Evidence that that's exactly what happened, though. This is. I feel like we're running around in circles here. But
all I wanted you to do is accept that Hasan benefited from nepotism, and you agreed with that. I don't know why we're talking about coal miners and now.
Because it feels like we're going down the hypocrisy argument a little bit. It feels like
wait. What's hypocritical about me saying that Hasan has benefited from nepotism?
Okay, wait. Let me walk back a bit. Not the hypocrisy argument, but it feels a lot like the similar debates 3-4 months ago that we used to have about sort of like leftists living their values and nepotism not being a leftist value, and so we hyperfixate on Hassan's nepotism in order to lower his like ability to go out there and do forms of activism or to be seen as like an effective leftist.
All right, this victim mentality is getting old as okay? You're white as hell. You are not a victim. I'm sorry. I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding. If there's any indicator you're not a victim, it's that you're on Twitter all day and you can afford to do that while mommy and daddy pays bills. That's the real thing. All right. Anyway, and that's honest, okay? That's honest. But the real meme with this is you're playing the victim when it comes to that idea about the living your values and that everybody was attacking you over living your values. Listen, if you make stupid points and then people call you out on that, it's not like they're just trying to reduce your effectiveness in political society. It's that you made stupid points and people are calling you out on it. This reminds me of the arguments that people will make, and I mean, I guess it still happens, where it's like whenever you're attacked, it's because they're like bigoted. So like, for instance, Vaush attacking me is racist. He's racist because I'm black. What is this argument? What is this weird victim? Maybe he's attacking me because of the point that I'm making, and apply this in this situation. Nobody's attacking Hasan to try and end his career. People are attacking Hasan because he made stupid arguments. Like, nobody's coming at you for your career. They're coming at you for what you said that was stupid. Don't act like you're a victim in this circumstance.
And so on and so on. So we hyperfixate, which is something that liberals do. Liberals love to hyperfixate on certain, I guess, small inconsistencies that leftists have in order to degrade the larger leftist movement. And I do feel this is what is going on here.
Okay, well, it's funny you're insinuating I'm a liberal when you're talking about white fragility.
No,
don't worry.
Not that
Shut the fuck
liberal.
up. You shut the fuck up. I'm talking now. You shut up. When you're talking about white fragility. No, listen, I'm talking now, okay? Shut the fuck up, okay? Sigma. You're accusing me of white fragility and going on about liberals. There's only one fucking liberal in this conversation, mate, all right? Now listen up, okay? Here's the situation. I don't know where this idea came from, okay, that like nepotism wasn't a leftist value or anything like that, right? My issue isn't the fact that like because Hasan benefited from nepotism that like he isn't a true leftist or something like that. That's nothing to do with it. You know, obviously I was critical of his house. I don't want to get too sidetracked to that because that's old drama. We can talk about it in a bit if you want, right? The only thing that I'm trying to point out is very simple in that video, right? Aside from the TYT video, right? Before Chenk's tweet, Hassan's nepotism was totally benefiting from nepotism was totally irrelevant to this conversation. The reason that I started to bring an analysis of benefiting from nepotism into it is number one, Cenk Uygur tweeted at Twitch
shout out.
When Hasan Piker was banned, despite the fact that, in my opinion, Hasan Piker broke the rules and the ban is to me legitimate. Okay, and secondly, they then released a video about it, and in the video they didn't make clear at all the background or nature of the relationship or the past, and I just had a problem with that. That's it.
Okay, if it was purely nepotism, why did Cenk Uygur also tweet about Vaush? Because Vaush, I'm pretty sure the tweet we're talking about, Vaush was included in that tweet as well. From what I know, Vaush and Cenk Uygur have never interacted ever before.
I mean, Vaush is associated with the story in some way. I would argue that, like, if Vaush hadn't been banned, he wouldn't have included him at all, and would have just, had Hassan that he would tweet out about. If it had been Vaush that had been banned only and not Hassan, he wouldn't have even mentioned Vaush being banned.
He might have mentioned it. He might have mentioned it because Anna Consparian is friends with Vaush, so he definitely might have mentioned it.
But would you agree? The primary reason that Cenk Uygur tweeted that out is because he's related to Hassan.
You're saying that there is...
I feel like this is a pretty safe yes, but I would say that in comparison, this is one thing that I don't really know too much about. So I can conjure a reality where Cenk would tweet out these tweets about Vaush if Vaush was the only one banned, if like Hassan made some noise about it. But that reality would never exist because Hassan doesn't give a fuck about any other political streamer besides himself. Until, of course, some other political streamer has more views than him, then he'll care, right? So, yeah.
There's absolutely no possibility at all that this could have been a principled move by Cenk Uygur.
Well, I don't believe so, no. My position is that, regardless of who is included, I think the primary reason that Hassan tweeted that out is because of his relationship with Hassan.
You mean Cenk?
Cenk, yeah. The primary reason he tweeted that out is because Cenk is Hassan's uncle. And you disagree with that?
Yeah, I disagree. See, this is the problem. I don't think we're going to move past this hill.
Okay, well, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that point.
God damn, I hope this person keeps this level of skepticism for nepotism for all of the, their capitalist critiques. I hope that shit happens. All of these capitalists that have very obviously nepotistic attitudes, I hope that they're just like, well, I don't know. Well, it's because, their second removed cousin. I don't know why I just went a little bit Cosby with that. But you know what I mean? I hope they keep that same energy.
Back to the original reason why you came in here. So explain to me about my YouTube and stuff. What's the right fragility?
Okay.
I'm definite Cosby. Shut up, Azar, when you're saying that.
Yesterday
or
early
you're
today,
white, you
because
can't
time differences. I went and because I get notifications for your new videos,
You think that there's hope for people like this? They seem lost. I think the only hope that this person would have would be getting in a real life relationship that enables them to not feel a massive need for a parasocial relationship. Because they're falling into the same pit that people fall into when it comes to Joe Rogan. When they watch Joe Rogan or some shit like that, they're falling into this parasocial relationship, or Elon Musk or whatever, with this person where they feel like they're talking to them and about them, and they admire them and they look up to them. They really just need more healthy relationships. I don't think anybody like us could do realistically anything for this person. This person needs to get some real relationships, real friends, a partner or something to make them not feel such a drive for all of their social validation to come from some streamer that literally does not give a fuck about whether this person is alive or not. So that's my opinion, that this person just needs to touch grass.
And I saw your newest video, and I thought, is this the second or third video he's made about Hassan? Then I went on your channel, and I saw it was 3 times. I believe the reason why you're covering it and other people are covering it
Mabs,
Destiny.
Were you this bad though, Mabs? Were you down this bad though, Mabs? Hey, listen, I appreciate it, Mabs. It's always good to hear shit like that.
Is, I hope, an over-defensiveness every time white people is brought up as an insult. This is known as white fragility. It's not a term I'm making up.
Wait, Chudlogic, weren't you the guy that made some of the most white jokes? Am I forgetting who you are? Am I the one that's am I forgetting, dude? Chudlogic, this guy is the one that gets upset every time a white joke happens? It's this dude? Oh man, my bad. Man, maybe I'm the one with the brain rot, dude. I don't know. I thought he was throwing them out there, dude. I thought he was one of the boys throwing out some fucking white jokes. Okay, I was memeing on the C-word thing massively. This is what I mean, dude. Like, the fellow racist streamer, right? Making fun of all of the racists, all right? Twitch, I am joking. He is not racist in the slightest, okay? Don't be weird. All right? Like, this is what I mean, dude. I don't know. Dude, the vibes that I get and what I've seen from Chudlogic is he'll make fun of everybody with, you know, that he has the ability to make fun of in every way that he can within TOS, right? It's because it's funny. He makes jokes, right? Like he said, he's an entertainment guy, primarily, okay? He's an entertainment guy, and it shows, okay? And that's what he does, right? And he makes fun of white people. The idea that he gets upset whenever, like, white people are insulted or made fun of, or it's just wild to me, considering he makes fun of them all the time.
It's a thing that exists. It's an over defensiveness of whiteness, and this does seem to be a thing. Everybody seems to be overly upset of the C slur, okay? And I think it's just ridiculous.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So you're suggesting
Yep.
that I'm sensitive to, like, white people being insulted or the C word being used or something like that. Okay.
Yep.
I've been on this platform for 2 years. Do you think there's been times in the past where I've heard people going on about white people or using the C word or something like that?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. I mean, I'll answer. Yeah, of course. This space is filled with people that are talking about white people, this, mayo, that, all this other stuff, right? Okay, I'm going to level with you, okay? You've come in here.
That's a tough one,
I don't give a
ERG.
shit about the C word. I don't give a shit about people, like, memeing on white people or something like that, okay? I literally don't care. What I take issue with is the construction that people use in order to suggest that it's, like, not possible to be, like, racist to white people, right? Now, obviously, systemically, sure, it only tends to go like one direction, particularly like America, is that it's, white supremacist power structures over sort of black people. But
listen, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I am nervous to click on any of the links from Chud because half of them are going to put me in a position that I'm not going to like to be. Because they're going to be a really offensive joke. Then if I laugh, I look real bad. So I'm just going to be... Chud has my kind of humor, but some of his jokes, they are best in private, okay? Let's just put it, they are best made in private, okay? They are best made in private, all right? Let's be honest about that.
That you can't be interpersonally racist to a white person is ludicrous. Now, I know this is a common perception and discussion on the left. They use this construction of racism equals prejudice plus power. But the thing is, that people act like this is some sort of dogma or sociological truth, when the reality is this isn't a widely accepted definition of racism. And one of the reasons for that is because of the uncertainty of what power means in that equation. But anyway, that's besides the point, okay? This stuff is common on the left. People constantly talk about how you can't be racist towards white people, right? I don't give a right? I don't care about, like, that concept broadly if some fucking 100-follower Twitter Andy is saying it, right? What I take issue with is Hassan, the largest political streamer, getting up and making these points that I fundamentally disagree with, okay? But even that in itself is like, I could have just spoke about it and said, I disagree with him. But what I really take issue with is that Hassan has got up on his platform, okay? He's said these points. He's flagrantly disregarded the rules, okay? He's completely just disregarded the fact that this is against TOS. It's written down.
Well, I mean, Twitch disregards their own rules quite often.
Okay, that's whataboutism. That doesn't matter, okay? So the point... that is literally whataboutism. We can talk about that as a separate issue, but I'm talking about Hassan's conduct here, okay? So Hassan has broken the rules. He's flagrantly broken the rules, okay? He's been suspended,
I don't know what
right?
that point
and
was.
He's acted in a very entitled way about it. And he has perpetuated these sort of narratives and these ideas about what racism is and all this stuff that I think are bad. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm I'm making this content because I want to make the world a better place or do political action or anything like that. I'm doing it because I'm a content creator and I've got to make content, and this is great drama to make content about.
So pretty much your Leafy is here, is literally what you're saying.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, Leafy as he didn't seem to have any political goals either. He just largely made overly offensive thumbnails, and he was as
wouldn't he be comparable to, like, in this respect, actually Hassan, who actively says that he's not a political guy? He's a, like, what was it? What is he? A commentary thing? Isn't that what Hassan labels himself as? So he doesn't have to do any political action? Wouldn't that be more yeah, he's an agitprop guy, not a political. He's just there for making agitative propaganda. That's it. He's not like, and even still, that wouldn't be comparable to Chudlogic. But like, and even still, this is, I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. The way that I view this is there are people that absolutely take up and do and try and actively advocate for politics that are identical to political streamers, that will try to avoid critique of, like, hey, you should do something with your power by, like, saying, oh, well, I'm not a political streamer, I'm an agitprop streamer. This is something that Hassan does, right? But there's no substantial difference between him and a politics streamer, right? That's the way that I view it, is there's people that try and change their title in regards to things. But especially when that's inconsistent with the past. But in regards to Chudlogic saying that he's not doing that, it would be more similar to what I would say is like legitimately a commentary channel is the way that I view Chudlogic, with a heavy focus on politics right now, because politics are incredibly important to a lot of people, right? It's like a news channel almost, where it's like politics are incredibly important, but it's not all politics, right? But pretty much the news has been taken over by politics, whether it be coronavirus or some like this. It's taken over, right? That's just what it is. Everybody's interested in it. SV, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I've been avoiding it for so long. SV Exxon 7. Thank you for gifting 4 subs. So that's the way that I view it. Chudlogic, in this context of talking about his relation to, I would like to hear, or I think it would be interesting if Chudlogic inquired at this point if they believe that Hassan, the political streamer, and is should uphold this idea that he should advocate or should actually go out of his way to make political change materially. Because Hassan's argument is that he doesn't have to. That's Hassan. Hassan believes he doesn't have to do anything with his money or anything with his influence, right? He doesn't believe that he has to. So if anything, right, if this person believes Hassan, they would be arguing that Chud is similar to Hassan, and then wouldn't be comparing them dishonestly to Leafy. Whereas, like, Leafy is an example that they're trying to use to invoke a more reactionary vision of Chudlogic. But I don't know. If you believe Hassan, if you're Hassan stan, you would say that in this respect, if you believe Hassan, you would say that Chudlogic is acting like Hassan, and that Chudlogic is acting in an ethical way. Unless you want to argue that Hassan is acting in an ethical way. But I don't believe Hassan for a minute, because he's just not acting that way. It's just the reality. So I don't know.
I guess bombastic as it could be, largely for views.
It's Destiny's web meme? Well, yeah, it's just they're trying to invoke a reaction of Chudlogic is a conservative, or he's being reactionary. He's not. He's just not a primarily focused. He's not, like, concerned with making political change. That's not his goal, right? I would be interested, though, in inquiring with Chudlogic that, like, let's say that he gets massive off of this formula. Like, he's a 20K Andy. Would he feel obligated, or in his mind, would he believe that he is obligated, not whether or not he feels, but, like, whether or not following his logic, he would be obligated to, like, do fundraisers or things like that, assuming that the level of political content stays consistent with his shit that he's doing. I would be interested in hearing his shit about that, because I'm of a similar opinion of my content, the way I view my content, as Chudlogic. Even though I think Chudlogic actually does more commentary memes than I do, I don't really consider myself a political channel. I consider myself a commentary channel. I like the idea of watching random YouTube videos talking about video games and shit like that. You know, Stalker and shit. Apparently Homeworld 3 is coming out, and I'm just getting into what the fuck Homeworld is and like all of that. Elden Ring seems cool and stuff like that to do. So I prefer to view myself as a commentary channel. However, I believe that if I stay consistent with the amount of political content that I'm doing right now, well and into the future, and I do increase in viewership dramatically, I would believe that I am obligated morally to donate, to push to fundraisers and things like that.
So all you're saying is there is no like political goals connected to your content. This is simply to like get a rise out of people?
Well, it's not to get a rise out of people. I don't have like a political goal, because my belief is that these platforms are fundamentally capitalist platforms that operate via like an attention economy, and that basically the idea of achieving political goals out of it is fairly delusional. I think.
Oh, come on, that's a terrible take.
It's not a terrible take. The reason I feel like it's delusional is because what tends to happen I mean, I'm not saying that it's not completely out of the question that there's some like charity streams or maybe some IRL organizing that you might be able to achieve, but that is dwarfed by the reality of these platforms, which is that they operate as attention economies, and basically people create content and they have a political flavor to it, or they say it's about politics, but really what happens is, because of the way these platforms work, it feeds people who maybe have an interest in politics into cyclical content consumption cycles, like drama cycles and stuff like that. That means they don't ever really engage in any meaningful political action.
Well, that's actually, this is actually incredibly true. This is more succinctly put my point about Hassan, right? What I said earlier about Hassan, I gave a more, what I would say, like on the ground level saying of it, but he put it more succinctly in relation to that. There are people, I believe, the majority of Hassan's audience, that just tune in to see him say, yeah, look at that fat, dumb cop. Look at that fat, dumb conservative. Yeah, that's funny. Ha ha. Yeah, I'm fighting the revolution. And then they just log off and start jerking off all day. They don't do anything. So I would say you put that in a more salient manner of speaking, and that's pretty much just what he said right there. Is pretty much that exact same thing. That's what I took out of what he just said, was that it gets people into drama cycles more than the actual politics, which is true. Now, when he says capitalistic, it's of my opinion that I believe that this would exist under a socialist scheme as well. But that's where, of course, I'm sure Chud would agree that there are methods that you could do something similar to Twitch that would have the same result and shit like that. But that's where, obviously, me and him would start divorcing, is whether or not it's a capitalist issue or anything like that. Because obviously he's a socialist, but.
Of breaking out of what I see.
I think it's a social capital issue.
But the reality is, I'm very honest with my audience.
But that will always exist.
I'm a political person. I'm going to try and do a politics thing. Blah blah blah. I'm an entertainer. I'm here to have some fun. I'm here to make content about stuff and drama and politics. Stuff like that. If you find it interesting and entertaining, support me. Fantastic. Okay, but don't sit there and think you're engaging in politics by donating to me. I try and be as honest as I can about that. So yeah.
Okay, First of all, I would like to go through the rules. In my view, Hassan has no moral obligation to strictly adhere to the rules when there are several other content creators that don't. Bots, people who do hate raids against trans people. So I don't think that he has a moral obligation.
Can I say the N-word right now then? Is that okay with you?
No, because... Okay.
Of course this man jumps to that as a fucking response, dude. What did I tell you? What did I fucking tell you, dude? This man is itching for... You can't tell me he doesn't say it in private. You can't tell me he doesn't say it in private. You can't tell me this man isn't slinging them in private, dude. You can't tell me.
No.
Hold on, number two.
Right, well, what did it do? Answer my question. You're saying that if there's rules being broken elsewhere by people not being policed, then I can break rules and it doesn't matter, correct?
No, that's not my position. And if I was able to finish, you would have realized that's not my position.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So number one, that he has no moral obligation, okay, to strictly adhere to Twitch's rules when Twitch doesn't equally enforce their rules.
Okay.
But that what we base the slurs to say has to be based on the amount of harm that's done. We should base this on a harm reductionist principle. Okay? That is my position.
So what they're saying is he doesn't have to follow the rules if we don't feel like morally the rules make sense. That's what they're saying. So great. That's the point of contention. Whether or not it's moral to call white people the C word, and whether or not, more specifically, it is moral to justify why we can call people the C word. Because I agree with Chud. I don't think calling, white people the C word is actually that big of a deal. I think the issue is the justification that you have to use to do so. The way that you justify using the C word is pretty much that, like, racism against massive groups of people don't exist if you do specific things. Like, if I go over the border to China, and then now I could say whatever racial slur I want. Like, what? Like, these justifications are lead to incredible amounts of racism actually being pragmatically doable by people. That it's just maybe we should give up, racism against white people so that way we don't, we're not. I can't believe I have to. Can you believe the world we live in? I have to make arguments for why we shouldn't be racist to white people. And in order to make those arguments, I must make the argument that if we do that, we leave the door open to be racist to non-white people. Streamer. God, that's so weird. The only way to make the argument that I have an experience with these people for why we shouldn't be racist to white people is that it leaves the door open for racism against non-white people. That's so crazy.